What's going on, you guys? Welcome to Saints in the City.
Hey guys.
All right, we're not going to do a big intro, but we are so excited. We are so excited because we have, I just love this woman. I love her. Sage Steele has come on the show today.
She's pretty awesome, man.
She's incredible.
What a story. Story of bravery.
Perseverance. Strength. A little fear going into uncharted waters.
Yeah, but that's real.
It's real. It's real life. And she just keeps it real. And she just got married and she is thriving right now. But we're just going to jump into this interview because it's Sage Steele and she's fantastic. All right, you guys. Enjoy the show. Subscribe to the show.
This is brought to you by 30 pieces of silver.
Coffee Mass Football. All right. All the gear is on 30
essentials.
30piecesofsilver.com. 30PCS of silver.com. Pieces is spelled PCS.
Yes.
All right, you guys. So let's go. Saints in the City.
Enjoy. God bless you.
And have a good day.
Take care.
All right, then. I will end with my last.
Good night. And I will see you soon.
All right. Let's click the.
We'll be back at another time.
Okay. No.
At another day. In another life.
All right. Goodbye, guys.
It's still recording.
Well, congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're very excited for a second chance at this, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're stunning. I've been following you for a long time and you're just beautiful and I admire you.
Thank you.
Amazing, of course.
Thank you. I am very grateful for that. Like for the follow, because I don't know. I had no idea it would end up like this, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So I know we don't have you for too long. And I know you've talked so much about what happened to you at ESPN. But I kind of want to go back and jump right into your time as a sports journalist, because I admire that. And I think that is so awesome. So what made you want to get into sports journalism? Was it something that you knew right away or you kind of fell into?
Yeah. You know, I say, maybe I'm wrong with this, but I've always said that you don't fall into becoming a sportscaster.
Okay.
Like it has to be very intentional because there's a lot of people who want to do it. I think I've seen a lot where people want to be a newscaster and fall into being a meteorologist. It's like, you can just kind of, which isn't really true because you need schooling and education for that. But with sports, if you're not a sports fan, you're going to have no desire to talk about it every single day for the rest of your life, you know?
Yeah.
But I was really young. I was 11 when I told my parents that I wanted to be a sportscaster.
Oh, I love that.
It was I'm an Army brat, so we lived like all over the world. And we had just moved back to the States. Actually, I was 12 because it was the '84 Olympics. We had just moved back to the States and I was watching the Olympics. And I loved sports. And my dad, who was a college football player, and brothers who are really good athletes as well, but knew I wouldn't be able to play anything past high school. So I thought, what's this second best thing? And that's to talk about it, because I felt from a very young age the camaraderie, the teamwork. Like you can think about it now. If you go to an NFL game on a Sunday,
I know.
For those 3 hours, your best friends are the 80,000 people you're sitting next to.
Yes.
Right.
And it doesn't matter, your race, your religion, your socioeconomic status. Nothing matters except winning the game, and you're high-fiving people you've never seen before. And I loved that sports brought people together, and that's what that's why I wanted to be around it.
Oh, I love that so much. What sports did you play? Can I ask you?
I just ran track. I ran track, and I wasn't great. But people are like, tall, black, biracial woman. Oh, she's going to be fast and jump high. No, neither.
Yeah.
I also rode horses. I was an equestrian, even though we're on a military budget. But that was where that's why I wasn't great at track, because I was all about the horses. And which, for those of you watching who don't understand what a sport that is
a sport.
I had abs and I was rock hard. That was then.
I love that.
Yeah. So so that's interesting, because now So you went through everything you went through at ESPN, and you were a sportscaster, and you worked your way up through the ranks, and then now you're in political commentating now, and I'm wondering, like, do you ever feel like going back to the sportscasting and doing more something, not ESPN obviously, but something in that realm, or do you think like you've just transcended that so much that you just like no going back?
I did it for 29 years.
Oh yeah.
And
That's a
I mean, I graduated from college in 95 and I left ESPN in 2023.
Yeah.
So I feel like I did it all. I did more than I ever dreamt of. Like back then, so many people who had this dream, I mean, the goal was always ESPN. And it's really hard to get there. It was harder then than it is now, I think, to get there. But especially as a woman.
Yeah.
And I never make it about race, but there were no women who looked like me there either. There was one through the years, and it was Robin Roberts, who was my hero at the time as a sportscaster. So just the fact that I made it was kind of a miracle in my eyes and the eyes of many others, I think, as I found out along the way. And like I got there and that was amazing. And then I did things well beyond what I ever dreamt of even there. So I feel like been there, done that. And I wouldn't change a thing, but I also like I had hit the ceiling. And I just to be able to do all the things I did, and yes, be a longtime host of SportsCenter, but did NBA Countdown on ABC and ESPN for years. And I did Super Bowls and the Masters tournament and World Series and I got to have my kids. So there's nothing left there for me. And I will say this, when I left, I didn't realize what a break I needed. I needed a break so badly from obsessing about statistics and every athlete and every coach and every game.
That's hard.
There's a lot of pressure, especially as a woman, where people are still, it's a bit better now. I'm just saying back then, I knew that I had to be better than the boys, especially starting out as a young reporter. And my questions had to be better, or else there would be like, see, some typical girl who didn't play football. So there was I felt the pressure when I was in it. But I don't think I realized until I left how much of a toll it took and how exhausted I was from that daily pressure. And I was on live national TV for 2 hours a day. And I was like, So I don't want to go back. And I never thought I'd be, I don't know what would you say? I'm a political commentator or analyst. I don't know what I am, but I didn't mean for that to happen either. So,
well, was there anybody in particular that made you super nervous? Like, was there that one interview where you were just like, I'm sitting here sweating. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to say. Like, I just like asking professionals, like, is there anybody that made you super nervous?
I was nervous a lot. I was nervous every single day. Every single day of my career, I was nervous. Yeah.
We didn't.
That's interesting. How do you deal with that? Is there like I've heard you speak about doing the prayer of Saint Michael and the cadet prayer. I've heard you mention that.
His dad was a Marine. He was a military brat as well. Yeah.
Wow. Same. So we understand each other. Part of me, I know that I needed those nerves. Okay. And it was probably more adrenaline than nerves, but I definitely felt butterflies every single day.
That's amazing.
Because when it's live and, one word that you screw up is completely overanalyzed, especially today. Back when I started, thank goodness, there was no internet, there was no social media, there was nothing. Right. Like we were using newspapers to look up the scores from, the Cubs-Cardinals game the night before. There was none of this where you could just look at a score or have a computer fill in your fantasy football sheet. Like that's not how And so I just, I felt this pressure that I put on myself, but I found that I thrived in it.
Okay.
And I think that's because every time I got nervous, like, what am I going to do? Quit?
No.
Right.
Walk away? Especially once you have a family and, that financial burden was on me 100%. Like I'm not going to have a job if I listen to these fears in my soul, which I had. So I learned every day when I would push through that fear, I was like, oh, look, I'm still standing. I'm still breathing. Yeah. So let's go do it again the next day. And I think I realized actually, and even today, I am better under pressure.
That's awesome.
And I do miss the adrenaline rush of
Yeah.
live TV. I still do a lot of live TV, just,
Yeah, you do.
Fox News or
Yeah.
Newsmax
Yeah.
or other things. And even on stage, I think you can replace that adrenaline when you are speaking, emceeing, hosting things in front of big crowds. Oh my gosh, I get very nervous. And even though people are surprised because that's what I did for a living,
Yeah.
you don't have some sort of adrenaline rush when you're going on a stage or in front of a camera and presenting.
Yeah.
I think that's weird.
Yeah.
Do you like, what calms you down? Like, is there something you say? Is there something that you do that says, okay, I can do this? Like, just for people out there who do get nervous in those moments as a professional, what would you tell them, like, to calm down?
Well, I just taught myself to breathe
Okay.
a lot. And then, I mean, this is just kind of very candid. I would say, okay, even if I fall on my face, literally trip as I'm walking onto the stage,
Carrie
or,
Bradshaw.
at ESPN, we'd be live on SportsCenter and I'm live walking and talking and live doing highlights or walking over to a guest. And I'm in 4-inch heels and
Yeah.
there's cables you have to step over. Even if I fall, like literally or figuratively, I'm gonna still get back up.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm still gonna, live another day, hopefully, and wake up and do it again. So I just realized that what's the worst thing that could happen is I'm trending on Twitter for literally looking like an idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, is that gonna kill me? No.
No.
As it got more serious, and I know we haven't talked about this, but ended up suing
Yes.
Disney and ESPN at the end.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
And from the moment I got suspended for my comments about COVID, Disney owns ESPN and ABC,
Yeah.
and I got suspended by them. And that was October. Oh my gosh, it was literally like this week. Oh gosh, this week,
It's your inner-
4 years ago in 2021.
Wow.
Yeah.
Literally, I was getting calls from my bosses and agents, and they were freaking out and like sending me home and making me publicly apologize and taking assignments away. It all began exactly 4 years ago. And so that was October of 21 until I left of August of 23. That's 22 months.
Oh my gosh.
And every single day during the lawsuit,
Yeah.
I had to still go back on TV
Yeah.
and perform and do it. And it is kind of crazy. Usually if someone ends up suing their company, it's after they've left. No, I was
Yeah.
doing that while I was still live on their airwaves. And
Yeah.
it wasn't the plan. It wasn't fun.
Yeah.
But for anyone, I'm sure they hated having me on at that point. But like I would sit in the car with my parents on the phone
Yeah.
every day before I'd walk into those doors in that building to host SportsCenter. And yeah, we would say that prayer, Saint Michael the Archangel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our favorite prayer. Yeah.
It was, I started saying it obviously when they started to incorporate it into the end of Catholic Mass.
Yes.
But then when this whole thing went down, the first day back at work after I got suspended, after the suspension was lifted, my parents had come to visit me at my house in Connecticut and just literally pulled me off the ground when I was broken from the whole thing and scared. And they huddled up. We're like, okay, my dad's like, huddle up, ladies. We're going to say this prayer before you go. Yeah. And every single day from that moment on, when I was walking in the studio, I'd call my mom and dad. They lived in a different state, and we would say that prayer. And I did feel protected.
Yeah.
I did feel like I had this, I would visualize this protective bubble around me.
Amazing.
That would keep the good energy in and not allow that bad stuff to enter, and then allow me to try to exude kindness and enjoy the job that I really did love till the very last day.
Yeah.
And I felt that protection.
Oh, that's amazing.
Prayers.
I love that.
I would, because I walked in the building and there were people that stopped, friends who stopped talking to me. Like the whispers were not even whispers. Yeah, over my opinions on the COVID vaccine and a couple other things. But like, I don't know how I would have survived without that prayer.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
So it must have been a very like toxic environment, feeling like you going into work and people are like probably like afraid to like speak to you. Was it like that? Was it that like toxic and awkward and
like we can't talk to her because of that? Like we don't want to be associated. Like, okay.
Yeah, I was told by one of my bosses that that there's a lot of people who are mad at you. Like when I was coming off suspension, there's a lot of people who are mad at you. There's a lot of people who are disappointed in you. Because I also talked about two other things. I talked about women
Yeah.
in sports and in locker rooms, and how I feel like some of us need to be better. And you know, as a mother of three kids, but two girls, where
Yeah.
clothing is a part of our conversation a lot. And what are you wearing and why?
Yeah.
What's your goal for wearing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when
Good
we're in
for
professional
you.
spaces, I think
Yeah.
there's certain things that are inappropriate.
Yeah.
And in particular, when you're going into a men's locker room, um, I think clothing choices have to be intentional. And when it's questionable, there's, I'm not saying we should ever be subjected to gross comments,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but when you come in with stuff hanging out, like, you know,
Yeah.
so I talked about that, and there I was told that women are just so disappointed in me, and I was such a leader, and you better, you know, be prepared to apologize. And then also about being biracial, and the podcast I said it on asked me about my comments 8 years prior on The View about Barack Obama, and how he's biracial but never talks about it,
Yeah.
and says he's only black. And I just feel differently. I feel so grateful that I have such a diverse family, and I have a white mom
Absolutely.
and a black dad. And I was, you know, people didn't like how I made the comparison. And so then I was in trouble in the eyes of ESPN by just disappointing a lot of people, and
Makes me
coworkers,
angry.
black coworkers, one of whom wouldn't even come on the air with me anymore. He refused to come on the air with me, and they allowed that. So,
Wow.
you know, those are the three things that ticked people off. And so I just felt that I felt it. And then there were people who still loved me but were afraid to be seen with
Exactly.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And friends who were like, who told other friends, listen, I love her, but I can't,
I can.
don't
Oh
don't
yeah.
post a picture of me with her.
I've.
And as much as I understood it to an extent,
Yeah.
it still devastated me, because if
Yeah.
you're friends with someone and you know
Yeah.
someone's heart, even
Yeah.
if you don't agree with what I said, like, I've been there for you for years. I fought for you, and
Yeah.
now you're just abandoning me. So, but I say that because I learned so
Yeah.
much.
Of course.
And I literally, I promise you, I would not change a thing. Not only did it make my circle smaller,
Yeah.
which I think it's been helpful.
Yep.
It's made my faith stronger, and it's brought me to today. Like without any of that stuff,
Yeah.
I would not be here today, and I wouldn't be even more grateful
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the good people in my life.
Well, where does that,
Yeah.
you talk about you're on the floor, and I've heard you speak about this,
Yeah.
and your parents came, which I think was just such a profound story
So
because
beautiful.
they
I almost
were,
was crying
'cause
when I
you're-
heard that story, because you know, that's how my relationship with my mom is.
Yeah.
Like, she would come to New York when I was modeling and acting and pick me off the floor when I was just at my lowest point, and that's where I went back to my Catholic faith, and that's where kind of my story came from.
Yeah. But yeah, I was
Yeah.
just thinking about that,
Yeah.
and you said
So beautiful.
your dad was going through cancer too, so that was
Yeah.
like he's taking that risk, and I think that's just a beautiful story. But like, where does that faith come from? Like, you were obviously, you were raised Catholic, correct? Since you were young, right? Like, but
Yes.
Cato Cross. Okay.
where did that faith deep inside of you come from? Like, I know everyone's faith transitions from.
And they say that you have faith and have faith, but when push comes to shove, when you have to use it in these moments, like, was it there initially, or did you have to find it?
Yeah, I would say that it had always been there,
Okay.
but I hadn't really gone all in on it
Yeah.
in a very long time.
Yeah.
I hate, but I love that you understand what it's like to be on the floor
Oh my
and
gosh.
to have our moms come and
Oh yeah.
pick us up, and my dad, and you know, at the time, I guess I was 48, 4 years ago. And you know, you don't think you need that kind of love and support from your parents once
You
you're this
do.
age.
Yeah.
And you do.
Yeah.
And now I know, you know, my oldest is 23, I have 23, 21, and 19, and they need me more than I ever thought. I was like, oh, okay, you know, they're in college, and I'm sad, but like, I did it, they've
Yeah.
done it, and onward. And it's like, they need me maybe even more now. They don't need me to feed them or wipe their butt anymore, but
Yeah.
they do need me to
Yeah.
support them and uplift them. And my dad's faith is the one that has really inspired me because during his struggle with cancer, which is in total now 13, 14 years,
Wow.
two different cancers.
Wow.
His faith, Catholic as well, but has always been Catholic. I think since my parents got married, my mom was the one that was raised Catholic. It's gotten so much stronger. And every day he sends us scripture readings to the big group, which includes my 3 kids as well, and my husband now.
Okay.
And like, so I don't know. I asked for some signs along the way.
Okay.
Asked for some signs when I was contemplating divorce, unfortunately.
Okay.
I asked for signs when I had to decide whether or not I was going to get that COVID shot.
Oh, gosh,
in order to keep my job, because I was forced to do it by Disney. And I received such signs, such beautiful signs that guided me with those tough decisions.
Okay.
So when then I was on the ground, and mom and dad picking me up, and then the world coming at you because it was super dark at that time, and the cancellation, I mean, they were just crushing. I just was like, God, please just guide me and protect me and show me the right way. And every time I really asked, like, I think God knows when we are serious or not, if we're just, stopping by real quick or if we're all in. Every time I would get, like drive by. Every time I would get the clearest signals. It was incredible. And
can you talk about any of those?
Is there anything in particular, like anything like?
Or is it very personal?
I mean, if it's personal, please, that's between you and God.
The one that I just told recently for the first time, I told it on a stage outside of Nashville at a church on what was last week. That was okay, I'm looking at my calendar real quick because I want to get the date right, because it was it was right after. Okay, so it was September 19th.
Okay.
9 days after, no, it was, I'm sorry. So what is that? 9 days after Charlie Kirk died. And I was supposed to be on that stage with Charlie and Erica.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. Oh, Sage, I'm going to cry.
Certainly it changed my message, and all the speakers who were scheduled to be at this World Outreach Church. It's in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And Rob McCoy, the Kirk's pastor, he came in their place. He's incredible. But, so this was obviously going to be a faith-centered speech that I was giving, but I decided to go a little deeper on examples based on what had happened to Charlie. And so I told this story about when I really saw a sign. I was this close to not getting that vaccine, that forced vaccine. And I just didn't believe in it. I didn't believe in being forced. I didn't think there'd been enough education surrounding the shot. And I knew that, I did a little quick Google search, and it takes 6 to 9 years on average for the FDA to approve a vaccine. And this is shoved down our throats and forced. I was just like, whoa. And that's what I got in trouble for, is talking about that. And so that night before the deadline to get the vax, to be fully vaccinated by September 30th, 2021, I just said, God, please show me signs, because if you guide me and say don't do it, then I won't do it. But give me a sign either way. And I need to keep my job. But if you're saying that you'll protect me in another way and don't take the vet. So I woke up the next morning and I was in the shower and I was looking out the glass, and there was some really ugly marble tile. I hadn't renovated that bathroom yet on the wall. And I remember I looked at that tile 100,000 times, and I opened my eyes as I was like crying, like, do I go get this shot? And I looked out, and that same brown, ugly marble tile was in the shape of an angel.
No.
I've been looking at this same stupid tile for years, and all of a sudden I opened my eyes, and that tile is like an angel.
I just got chills.
And to me, that sign was, you're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay.
Take the shot. I will protect you. That's what I took from it.
Okay.
And so I just stared at it and I sobbed. And I sobbed because I asked God for a sign, and he gave it to me so clearly. So that's when I got in my car and went over there and took the shot, and met a beautiful nurse who was so sympathetic and saying how wrong it was. wasn't even a nurse. She was literally like an employee at a grocery store pharmacy. But she was like, this is so wrong and I'm so sorry. And something changed at that moment when they put that needle in me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
something changed. But I do feel like I was completely protected from it because
Yeah.
of that angel. So sorry, tangent, but
No.
that was one of the
No.
clearest signs. And then a in January 1st, 2024, I was here in Florida. Can you guys see my ocean? You
That's
see my
beautiful.
ocean
I'm
view?
jealous.
No.
Come
We'll
on.
show you our, yeah. That, are
Sorry,
you
I'm
kidding
totally-
me?
Totally bragging. I know. Sorry. But I was here for like 48 hours
Oh my
and
gosh.
I had gone on this terrible date on New Year's Eve. It was so stupid. Why did I even say yes? And so I remember
You live and learn.
getting in the ocean and I was like, I am done. And, I'd been married for 20 years with my first boyfriend from age 20 to 47. That's all I knew. I didn't know how to date. I didn't know how to do anything. I was so clueless. And that night before that date, I was like, okay, you're an idiot. And so I got in the water and I did literally, and Catholics, we don't do this a lot. We're not like these other churches where we're swaying and that's just not what we do. But I got in and I remember opening my arms up and saying, Lord, please don't bring me anybody until you bring me somebody. And please make it so obvious.
Oh,
And that was January 1st, 2024.
oh my gosh.
I did not get a text, a DM, a shout out from any man
Yeah.
from January 1st, 2024 until November 12th, 2024, which is when I was at a charity event and met my husband and I knew it that night.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know, like there's been whenever I have, and now I'm daily, now it's so much more consistent, but every single time I've asked for help
Yeah.
and guidance,
Yeah.
I've gotten it.
That's
And
amazing.
it's been super clear. And that's one of the things that Dave and I do every single day. We start our day with a daily reading and that's based on a scripture and like a verse, I guess. And then we talk about it and that's how we start our day. And like the deeper that I have just really dove into all of this, where I was in it my whole life, just not going to another level.
Yeah.
The clearer everything is, every aspect of my life has changed. And I'm blown away by it.
I love it.
Yeah. So so after, what's interesting, Charlie Kirk was killed, assassinated.
I mean, time's still standing still here in Arizona.
Absolutely.
Like it's insane. I mean, we were devastated.
Yeah. And then, so Erica Kirk goes on stage and actually forgives the guy who took her husband, their kid's father. And you've experienced with everything from being at ESPN, these people that turn their back on you. Like, what are your thoughts? Have you been able to, like, when we talk about forgiveness, that's one of the hardest things I think it is as a Christian. And you see these people saying awful things about the Kirks. And
I want to talk about that too.
like, what is your, how are you with forgiving of those people that, didn't have your back? Like, what's your thoughts? Have you been able to forgive?
And even those who are never going to apologize.
Right.
Those, I feel like there's a level of narcissism that goes along with it. And I say they'll cut their nose off to spite their face until they're 6 feet under. Like, there's no way they're ever going to apologize. Are you okay with that? And are you able to forgive even those people?
Yeah.
Never been asked that question.
Yay.
Yay. Yeah. I'm in a really good place with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can forgive, but still be hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't hate any of them.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
I hate their actions towards me and so many others. I'm just one,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And so the hurt has definitely softened a little, a lot actually,
Yeah.
because I do believe that most of them, didn't mean to be hate. Some of them meant to be hateful, certainly, but many of them still did love me, but
Yeah.
didn't have the strength
Yeah.
and the courage to say, hey, this is my friend, even though I disagree, or like you can still be friends with someone and not be ashamed of it.
Yeah.
And not just completely abandon. I think and I have learned as well as a friend. There's
Yeah.
things that I need to do better that I have learned and I'm still learning based on how I've been treated, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I do think there has been a lot of forgiveness. I don't wish ill on any of
No,
them.
no.
And I am grateful for everything that happened with friends, with enemies, with bosses and
Yeah.
leaders,
Yeah.
with strangers,
Yeah.
because it has brought me to today. And without
Right.
some of that hurt, like I would have made different decisions.
Yeah.
So you just can't change anything about your
Yeah.
journey. You really
No.
can't. And so, what I have done to handle some of it is just I mute a lot of people. Like I don't,
Oh, I,
the only people
I do that on
I
social
block
media. Yeah.
are,
Unfollow.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, only people I block on social media are those who are really spewing a lot of,
Yes.
hatred and
A
divisiveness and
hundred
racist
percent.
comments. And it's like, okay, I don't need my kids to see that. I mean, they see
Yeah.
enough of it. They receive some of it because of me. My kids
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel really good about it. And I also can look, and I never turn on ESPN because it's just not where my head is anymore. And I
Yeah.
actually stopped watching it years before I left
Oh,
because
wow.
you needed a break. It's just like, you don't want to take your job literally home with you all the time.
Yeah.
But I would never, I don't know, I would never want to go back and ask them to change things. Did it
Yeah.
hurt in that moment? Yeah, but I'm so much better for it and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
tougher. Like I
Yeah.
can kind of take anything now. I
Yeah.
really can.
Absolutely.
Well, I worry, and the thing that always strikes me is like watching, especially when Trump was almost assassinated, and watching people I knew cheer that on, and then having Charlie get assassinated, and watching people I knew, Sage, like people I broke bread with in New York from the industry, like
Family.
there's this, yeah. And where do you think that comes from? Because for my faith, you don't have to agree with me. You can hate me. You don't have to. I mean, but there's some sense of humanity that I'm like, where did your mind go from? I don't like them. They're awful. You can say they're racist, all these things, but then you just jumped right into cheering people's death.
Yeah.
People I know, and I'm sure you've experienced this as well. Like, I'm asking you, like, where do you think that has come from? Is it the media? Is it, the industry that you were a part of for so long? Like, I'm just trying, maybe I'm a narcissist to wanting to figure it out. And God's like, it's not up to you to figure out, Sarah. But I can't understand where that hate comes from. Because it's no longer those people. It's you guys, people I know.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy and it's so sad. And to me, I've forced myself to look at some just to fully comprehend what we're dealing with in this
Yeah.
country right now. To me, the only logical explanation is that they don't have God in their
Yeah.
lives. They
Yeah.
don't.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obvious because if they did, there's no way that they would be that hateful.
Yeah.
And I really tried when this was happening, I was like, okay, well, someone I can't stand is like, I don't know, think of any political figure on the left for me.
Yeah.
Not even can't stand, but someone I really, really disagree with.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Joe Biden. I mean, they certainly had higher, bigger positions than Charlie Kirk, but
Yeah.
Right.
I would be mortified if they'd
Yes.
been hurt
Yes.
or killed.
I say that.
I would be mortified from a human level. Are you
Absolutely.
kidding me?
Exactly.
And I did. I was like, I always try to put myself in someone else's shoes. There's no piece of me that would ever have celebrated any of them being harmed.
say that all the
So
time. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know that I want to understand what's
Right.
going through their minds, but I do know that there are a lot of godless individuals in this
Yes.
country now, and people with a lot of influence. And
Yeah.
so you ask, how did we get here? Yeah, social media. I mean, my kids send me a lot of, links to news stories that are all on TikTok. Because that's where this generation is getting their news.
Yeah.
And now that we already assumed it because we have a brain, but otherwise now people like what's his name, the Facebook CEO
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
and Zuckerberg and so many people, and even the people before Elon took over Twitter,
Yeah.
they admitted all the censorship and all of the disgusting things that they allowed to be said to people who were more conservative. And so we know that TikTok has been led by the wrong people with the messaging that has now led to this. People laughing and celebrating at the murder, the execution in front of the world of someone else. And also just in general, the messaging that they're sending these kids with transgenderism and all of these different
Yeah.
things that are, I mean, look at what net is happening with Netflix right now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the shows that
The
they are
shows.
producing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
are aimed at a demographic of little kids and preteens and all about your sexuality and transgenderism and promoting that
Yeah.
and encouraging it. And then who are the executive producers of some of these shows? Barack and Michelle Obama. So it kind of
It's all on
tells us how we
purpose.
got here.
Yeah, I feel like it's all on purpose. There's an
Oh,
agenda
it's
behind
intentional.
it. There is, the devil loves chaos, and I tell people all the time, like, we don't have to agree, but I would, like I said, I would never wish. I didn't like when people were making fun of Biden falling. I mean, just even like that, or him having cancer, that hurt
Yes.
me. So I think about our souls, and I think about our eternal souls, and maybe I'm too deep with that, but I'm like, you guys do understand there's life after death.
Right.
You gotta have to worry about that just a little bit, because your soul matters in these moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
don't think you're overreacting at all. I think,
Yeah.
and I think to the making fun of Biden, like
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard me talk about this, but I did interview him during COVID still. It was like March, April, right after he took office in 2021. And before we started taping, we were just chatting. I couldn't see his face because
Yeah.
they had a sheet, a black sheet over the camera.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay.
But our conversation, I noticed that he wasn't finishing his sentences, and then he was kind of trailing off. And I've talked about this many times in a way that is nothing about mocking.
Yeah.
It's about, to me in 2021, and I'm no doctor, and I wasn't even face to face with him. I couldn't even see his eyes,
Yeah.
but I could hear.
Yeah.
And I knew when I got done that something was off.
Sage.
Yeah.
I knew that there was some sort of dementia
Yeah.
going on. And it was heartbreaking to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? I would never have voted for that man
Yeah.
or anything he stands for, but he's our commander in chief.
Yeah.
He's our leader. If he fails, we fail. And he's a human being.
He's a human being. Yeah.
Right. Like, why would we ever celebrate that or mock that? Now, is it okay to mock the people who covered up? And mock is the wrong word. I would say hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People who covered it up knowingly and then lied to our faces for years, and the auto pen and all these things.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, well deserved. It is irresponsible at best to look back on what they did and the cover up, and even Jake Tapper with his book. Everybody's acknowledging it now and trying to make money off of it now, which again, let's
Exactly.
mock them. That's disgusting. But yeah, I think where we are today is so scary, but we have to take responsibility for that. And because so many of us who are just normal, I don't even mean politically, but just like
Just
normal, empathetic human beings.
Exactly.
What we did for the last years, the last several years, is we stayed quiet.
Oh, yeah.
And stayed quiet for way too long because you think it's the right thing. But look what happened. Kids, certain generation, only heard one voice.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
One type of messaging. And so, of course, they're going to believe it because we stay quiet. So there needs to be accountability on our side, too, for being too scared
100%.
to speak up.
I remember being on set, and this is after Top Model and then just get into the industry. And I would be on set and I was like, why do I have to be silent? I was silenced. Like I was not allowed to speak, but everybody around me was able to speak their minds, and it infuriated me. And and that's one reason I left. I mean, I said, I can't do this anymore. This is too, especially after we had our son. Because then it became like this political agenda. I saw my agency just turn into this arm of like almost a neo-Marxism part of, politics. Right. And I said, nope. And I saw what they were promoting in these magazines, and the articles just got so seedy. They got so, the things that they promote towards kids, like Teen Vogue and all these Cosmo Girl, whatever. And I'm like, these are the articles you are writing for my niece? No more. So I remember having that conversation with you. I was like, peace, I'm out, let's go. I start my own company, and I made money, and but that takes so much courage to do what you did when you're at the top of that industry. And I
know that you weren't alone, right? You know that you weren't
No.
alone with some of your opinions,
No.
but people don't. And I understand the fear in speaking up. It's real. Look what
Yeah.
happens when you speak up. We all
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
And then therefore the courage to step away from something
Yeah.
that's making a lot of money and can
Yeah.
really set your future for yourself, for your family, for your children. Like what you did is incredible.
Thank
And
you.
that's why we need to continue to share it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime someone does that
Yeah.
and steps away and takes a chance on themselves and actually sides with their faith,
Yeah.
not the pressures and the materialistic things, we got to celebrate them because it
Yeah.
helps not it does help to hear validation. I mean, we're human,
Yeah.
but more importantly, it helps others realize they're not alone
Exactly.
and maybe they can do it too. Like we have to share it to encourage others.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I
do,
love that.
do you think like Keith Olbermann came out and said some vile stuff to Scott Jennings, I believe it was on X, and it was pretty. I think he said something like
You're next.
You're
Yeah,
next.
I mean, just the
you
most.
know?
I mean, Keith Olbermann is just
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But do you think we're dealing with more of like a mental illness issue?
with
Like,
a lot of people.
Are you surprised how many mentally ill people there are in the world?
Or-
Because it just feels overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like how many there are.
Yeah, I am surprised, but again, I think it goes back to what we've allowed to happen in the messaging that we've sent. And then parents, honestly, being fearful of having tough conversations with their kids or getting them help. And then certainly when you have somebody like a Keith Olbermann, who was my coworker at ESPN. I saw a video the other day of me in studio with him doing SportsCenter in New York City, and just like in a commercial break, and I was being silly and he was being fine and nice and to my face. And now, I mean, the hundreds and hundreds of texts or tweets that he has posted, just crushing me and hoping for my demise, and writing Bob. When I first filed the lawsuit against Disney, it's like, Bob Iger, call me, I'll help you bring her down. And just like the stuff that he has said about Riley Gaines forever. Like he is a sicko.
Yeah.
And I crushed him recently publicly because it's another level. And, with the Scott Jennings things, you're next. I really believe that what he was referring to was you're next. You're going to lose your show, just like Jimmy Kimmel temporarily did.
Yeah.
But the hateful rhetoric that he has constantly used and saying, Charlie Kirk is, Sinclair, rot in hell. Sinclair, the group that owns all so many ABC affiliates, that was one of the reasons why Jimmy Kimmel got taken off the air. Sinclair, rot in hell alongside Charlie Kirk.
That's
Oh
awful.
my God.
That's what he said. So that right there, there's no way he has God in him. There's no way he has
No.
much good in him. When not only is he thinking it,
Yeah.
but he's posting it out there
Exactly.
for millions to see. So he is a bit shocking.
Yeah.
But again, if Erica Kirk
Yeah.
can forgive the kid, the
Yes.
person, that vile human being who killed her husband,
Yeah.
then I can forgive Keith Olbermann.
Yeah. Right.
Because he is sick and he needs help.
We need to
Yeah.
pray
And that
for
was
his
a post
soul.
I made last week,
Yeah.
not to mock him, to remind people of what we're dealing with this man.
Yeah.
And that's one person that I definitely muted, because if you listen to that kind of hatred from anyone regularly, how can it not affect you?
Affect your, yeah. Just
Absolutely.
it's almost like you're letting the devil into your life, and you're just
You
like, I'm
are.
like, be gone. I'm going to pray for your soul from
Yeah.
over here. I can practice discernment, but get out of my life. Like, I don't need that anymore. Well, we won't keep you much longer. And I want to know what is going on with you. Like, how is your show going? And talk about a little about your show that is just
Thank you.
blowing up. Yes.
Well, thank you. Is it? I don't know. I'm
I love it.
learning. I'm new to this world.
Yeah.
I always wanted my own show, and I actually started to do a show similar to the one I'm doing now. When I was at ESPN, they gave me a streaming show. For those of you a little older, Up Close by Roy Firestone used to be
Yeah.
a show on ESPN, and then he left and they stopped the show, and then they rebranded it and had to go through this whole legal thing, and it was Up Close with Sage Steele, and I was so excited and like honored because Roy Firestone did such a great job. And then I got 3 shows in, and that's when I got suspended, and the rest is did another show. So
Yeah,
the
you got
3 that I
Dak
did were
Prescott
awesome.
on there, and
I had, oh my gosh, yeah, Dak and Jason Tatum
Jason
was the
Tatum.
last one,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
yeah.
it was like it was incredible.
Yeah.
I'd never met him in person, and he opened up to me and was in tears
Yeah.
about his biological father, and I was so honored. And so those three episodes that I got in before everything blew up just reminded me of how much I love hearing people's stories
Okay.
Yeah.
and hearing their why
Yeah.
and what got them to this point. Because we can look at a Jason Tatum, or we can look at an RFK Jr. who I had on my show last year, or Jillian Michaels,
That's
or Dana
huge.
White, or comedians that I've had like Justin Nunley recently, where he has a show called, White Trash with Money. Like
Oh my gosh.
I have like a huge variety of people on my shows. But I don't really care about your resume. I
Yeah.
really care about your why. The one that I
Yeah.
just dropped this week is Linda McMahon, the
Oh,
Secretary of Education, and she's awesome.
yeah.
But she talked about her upbringing and what it was like to start WWE with her husband and then lose everything. And like,
Yeah.
that's what I do on my show. And so it's such an honor to do it. I'm grateful that I got another chance at it after what happened at ESPN. And how cool that I get to do this my way. I get to
Exactly.
do this. I'm
That's
my own
revenge.
booker.
Yeah.
It kind of is, even though I don't ever want to look
I
at it
know.
that way. But there's a lot of people who were rooting for my demise and still are, and that's okay. Let them.
Crazy. Yeah.
But not only am I doing my own show,
Yeah.
but I'm my own booker. I do
Yes.
everything, and I have a great producer editor. But otherwise, like. I own my own content. I didn't give it away to anybody, which makes it harder
Oh
and
yeah.
more expensive, certainly. And it takes a while to make money in this space and YouTube algorithms and then the different ways you have to post. Like,
Girl.
I, I hate it and I'm clueless. So it's been really hard just to learn that part of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to just being the creative
Yeah.
and coming up with all my own questions. Even on SportsCenter, we would get help, but I really massage the questions to make them my own for what I thought people wanted to hear about. It isn't just the athlete's stats, but like,
Yeah.
they're about to have a baby. Let's talk about something that matters to him personally.
Yeah.
So I love that I get to do it. It's certainly a challenge. It's the Sage Steele Show, YouTube, and everywhere you get your podcasts. But
Yay.
I'm really proud to be able to just tell people's stories that are beyond their accomplishments. It's just an honor that people have trusted me.
That's awesome.
And you're great. And well, I just want to end.
one more
Oh, you
question.
have one more question.
got one
Okay,
more.
one more.
Because
Okay.
I was just curious. I was curious how. So you connected with Bill Maher on his podcast network.
Yes.
Are you still?
Yeah.
Are you still on his network, or is it? Are you on your own thing now? And how did that come about? He's kind
of trained. He
super
kind of,
liberal.
but he's kind of seeing the light.
Yeah.
a
You're
little
the
bit.
first podcaster that he put on
He's
his
a
network.
classic liberal. He's
Yes.
a classic liberal. And even I'm super proud of him. Not that he needs that from me,
Yeah.
but for literally looking at the issues and being honest about what has happened lately.
Yeah.
And the last couple years, he freaks out because people are like, Bill's been red pilled, and he has not.
No.
He's just listening and having conversations. What a
Yeah.
concept. So when he started, I went on his podcast like September, October of 23 after I left ESPN. And then when I was doing his show, he was like, I really like you. You should have your own show. You want to do a show for me? And I was like, ha ha ha. Bill Maher is just saying that. And then he said it again on camera. And I was like, huh. And then when we got done, he's like, we need to have you do a show. I'm starting up this podcast network. So I credit Bill Maher
Nice.
for giving me my start. Like that, give him a lot of credit, diversity of thought,
Right.
And then, I was the first podcast that he started under Club Random. I left, let's see, I'd say 6-7 months later.
Okay.
So last year, I started in end of March 24, and I left in the fall. Just had nothing to do with him. He's been awesome, but it's all about people. And if you don't have the right people running your network, it's not going to work. And so I don't, unfortunately, I think that they've gone under completely. I'm not sure, but Bill has not gone under.
No.
Bill is doing his thing.
He's doing great.
And I'm so grateful that he gave me that first opportunity and loved doing it. But since then, I've been on my own since like November of last year.
Good for you.
And it's, again, I was just going to try to keep it rolling, try to support it, it's financially by myself till I found another partner. And it just has turned out that I'm like, no, why would I give it away
Yeah.
now? And let's just see how it goes. So it's been a blessing. And my husband, my new husband, I've only been married for this week is up for a month.
I love it. I love it.
And he runs a company in Nashville
Okay.
and has been super successful at that for the last 20 years. And so he now is really guiding and running this for me because I am clueless.
Good for you.
I am like an idiot with stuff. It is so overwhelming. And you know
It
what?
is a lot.
I don't want to learn it. I don't want to know.
It's
So
a
thank
lot,
goodness
I
I've been
know.
the person that I trust the most who's now
Yeah.
going to be helping even more. I'm excited.
That's why God put him in your life.
I
I'm
know.
sure.
I think you should
One
write
of
a
many
book.
reasons.
I know.
Girl,
I
oh
want
my
a
gosh.
book. Can I get a book, please? Can we get a book?
Listen, this is
I'll publish it.
the biggest
I got a
stress
printer.
in my the biggest stress in my life because I've been trying to write a book for 4 years.
Okay.
And I have someone, a ghostwriter who I'm doing it with, and she's awesome. But like what I found is that the deeper I go, the more I run away from it. So there's
Oh.
something going on here with
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I will say, now that I'm married and I have a teammate again,
Yeah.
I feel like I can let down a little and then maybe find the right time to sit and do a little bit every day because there's a lot of good stories that are going to be in it for sure.
Yeah.
But the goal of it is more about just encouraging others to not live in fear for as long as I did.
Amen. Amen.
And
Amen.
doing what you did at such a much younger age than me, though. And like just to be true to yourselves in every way and to not live in fear and lead with God. Like, so I'm going to tell a lot of stories in it. I'm debating on how deep to go on some because it can be perceived as trying to get back at people, and I'm not. But those stories are what shaped me
Absolutely.
into who I am today. And without those stories that are not pretty, some of them are beautiful. Like, so thank you for pushing me. You can yell at me anytime because
Just write it down. I mean, I always say nothing has to be published. Write it all down. I have the darkest stories of my career, things that he knows, and I wrote it down, and it's just like, write it down and then edit it later because trust me, there's somebody.
I wish I had.
Okay. Yeah.
I wish like when it was all happening, especially early in my career, now no one has an excuse because we all have our phone. You can voice message
I
yourself.
know. You got AI your whole
help
book.
you? Absolutely.
Like, tell me about Sage Steele.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I'm so glad you asked me because I've been running away from it, and I mean it's been my husband and I talked about it this morning again, literally.
Yeah.
And so I have the person, and we've gotten started. We've done a lot, but it's just a long way to go. And I think now that again the show is kind of rolling, and I have a little help with it.
Yeah.
The booking part is the hardest. Like I'm literally constantly reaching out and coming up with ideas, and I don't know how to do it. I don't know publicists. I don't want to know publicists like that.
Hi, my name is
So
Sarah.
I'm like, I DM people on Instagram. I'm like, hi.
So we're the same. Like, I'm like, hey, do you want to come on my show? Yeah, that's how you do it. And I say they either say yes or no. The only thing they can say is no, thank you. And next. What do you have to lose?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. So thank you for the encouragement.
And before Sarah wanted to ask, I just want to make sure you don't forget.
I was gonna say, as we end this show, do you know the prayer to St. Michael?
Well, I was gonna say, does she? Yeah, you mentioned does she need prayers? Anything that you need.
We would love to
for.
pray for you. If there's something in particular that we can pray for you, we would love to do that.
Oh gosh, thank you. There's so many things. I think we always think about our parents and good health for our parents and family, of course. But I would love for more prayers about maintaining the integrity of my show.
Okay.
And finding guests who are really willing to open up and share their stories. Because what I have found just on my own is that the more vulnerable I am, the more it helps others because they see us on these platforms and they think, oh, look, she's smiling, she's happy, she's made good money, she's successful. Oh, their lives are perfect. And it's easy. Yeah. And so when I've shared my crap, there's so much good that's come, and I want to find guests,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes the bigger the name, the harder, of course, to get them to sit down with you. But when you can get people who are recognized to share things that the fears they've pushed through or tough circumstances, people don't realize you're helping so many others just by being open about it. Like, and it's also healing. So I would love that prayer just to help bring guests onto my show who are willing to share, be vulnerable, and it's because it'll help millions potentially if we all do that.
Oh my gosh, I love. Well, we will definitely do that. We'll tell our audience to do that. But do you know the prayer to St. Michael by heart? Do you want to?
Yeah, so this is so funny. Every time in the ESPN parking lot, my dad would start it, and then because I'm terrible at memorizing things, which is why it's crazy that I made it in my career as long as I did. But so you start, and then I'm like, then I jump in. I'm like,
I mean, why don't you start, baby?
We do that at church too.
We're like
apostles.
So we'll mess up together. We'll mess up together. I love this prayer though. So, St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and the snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan, all the evil spirits that prowl around the world, seeking the ruin of souls.
Thank you, Jesus.
Amen. Sage, thank you so much. I love you. I'm your biggest fan. I want nothing but the best for you. You rock.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And I love that you two are doing this together.
Thank you.
It is beautiful and a beautiful example for your young family too. Like that, the fact that they get to grow up seeing this, like my kids they're seeing the revival of me and like, wait, mom never had this big mouth and now look, please stop. And okay, we'll pray. And like your kids are going to grow up in it. And that's a blessing.
God bless you. Well, thank you so much. And we're going to keep watching out for you and probably have you back on another time.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon.
God bless.
God bless you.
Thank you.